How many times have you said Monday I start? Or just 5 more minutes and I get up? Yeah, procrastination has become a lifestyle disguised as comfort. The truth is that while we postpone, time remains relentless, and with it, opportunities also escape. Dreams are on paper, plans accumulate in the drawer, and what is left? The regret that we did not act when we could. Now think to me what separates who performs from who you only want. It's not talent, it's not luck, and it's definitely not money. The difference is in a habit that many despise, but which carries a transforming power: discipline. In a world where everyone wants quick results, being disciplined is an act of silent and extremely effective rebellion. But calm down. We are not talking about becoming a robot without emotions. I speak of self-control, focus, consistency. It is to master yourself when everything around you shout distraction. Best of all, you don't have to wait for a year or existential crisis. With the right attitudes, you can start now, and in 30 days you see profound changes in your routine, productivity, and future vision. So you commit yourself to subscribe to the channel, activate notifications, and follow this journey to the end. Because in this video you will find out how to cultivate the habit that can turn the key to your life. If you're tired of postponing, it's time to act. Let's go together. How many times have you gotten saying it'll start tomorrow? This seemingly harmless phrase has the power to sabotage whole dreams. It is like an emotional anesthesia, the pain of change, but also prevents progress. And the more we repeat, the more natural it seems, until one day we realize that the years have passed and nothing really changed. Procrastination does not warn when it becomes a lifestyle, but when we realize we are already stuck in it. And the worst, she steals us silently. How many opportunities have you lost because you didn't act when you had the chance? That job, that project, that habit that could have changed everything. What did you miss? Time? No. Will? Perhaps. But deep down, what was really missing was discipline. That ability to act even unwillingly, to build even without applause, to follow even tired. And here comes a question that doesn't want to shut up if you know what you need to do. Why don't you start yet? The answer may be uncomfortable, but liberating the problem is not a lack of knowledge, but lack of self-control. The good news? This is trainable. Discipline is a muscle, and like every muscle, it grows with practice, effort, and constancy. Imagine what your life would be like if you cultivate a single habit consistent for 30 days. It would not be perfect, but it would be real. One step a day, overcoming the internal resistance, ignoring the ego deployment, surpassing the urge to give into comfort. There is no magic, only resilience, routine, action day after day. And this walk begins now. David and Alex had the same big dreams as those who get cold in the belly just to think. They wanted to change their lives, achieve success, build something lasting. The difference between them, however, was in action, or rather, lacking it. David was a master of procrastinating, always postponed beginning tomorrow that never arrived. Procrastination was like a daily invitation to give up before trying. Alex, on the other hand, had something that seemed simple but made all the difference: discipline. I did not expect inspiration or magic motivation. He created a routine, set clear goals, and even on difficult mornings or tiring nights, he did what he needed. It was not perfect, but it was consistent. This not only increased your productivity, but also strengthened your self-control and ability to overcome obstacles. Over time, the results appeared, and at very different levels. Alex made goals that David just dreamed. The difference? An invisible but powerful force, the daily habit of action. While David sinking into regrets, Alex accumulated small but constant victories that became the foundation of a successful life. This story shows what Viktor Frankl called the last human freedoms: the choice of attitude in the face of circumstances. David could even dream, but it was Alex who chose to act, and that choice made all the difference. Discipline is not about being perfect, much less about punishing by failure. It is First and foremost, about maintaining a daily consistency that feeds your progress, even when willpower seems to be missing. It is a habit that you build little by little, like those who water a plant every day. It is not a strength shirt, but an act of self-control that aligns its actions with its deeper values and purposes. Many people confuse discipline with rigidity or extreme control, but true discipline is flexible. She understands that the journey has ups and downs, and that the important thing is not to lose the course, even in the storms. It is this balance that creates resilience and avoids the much-dreaded ego deployment the where forces wear, which happens when we charge each other too much and without strategy. The prefrontal cortex, which is a brain executive center, is responsible for this management behavior, focus, and conscious decisions. When we train discipline, we strengthen this region, making it easier to resist temptations, procrastination, and everyday distractions. It is a silent but decisive battle. In the end, discipline is the basis on which everything is worth it. Without it, goals turn into mirages and dreams fall apart in time. With it, routine becomes an ally and productivity becomes a natural force. Best of all, discipline prepares us for the real challenge, which is not just to act, but to act intelligently and sustainably. The discipline is much more linked to the functioning of our brain than we usually imagine. The great protagonist here is the prefrontal cortex. This area responsible for planning, decision-making, and impulses control. This is where the magic of self-control and focus happens. That invisible force that keeps us firm even when the desire to give up screams louder. Psychologist Roy Baumeister has brought a powerful and practical idea: willpower acts as a muscle. It can be exercised, getting stronger over time, but it can also run out of a phenomenon known as ego deployment. This explains why, after a day full of difficult decisions, it is so much more difficult to resist procrastination or temptation to relax too much. But calm down. It's no reason to be discouraged. With the right habits, a structured routine, and small self-control practices, we can strengthen this mental muscle and prevent early wear. As an athlete who's training progressively, the brain learns to manage its energy and focus, maintaining productivity even in the face of challenges. This science shows that discipline is not something mystical or reserved for a few. It is a skill that anyone can develop, and knowledge about the brain gives us a strategic advantage to creating lasting habits, overcoming procrastination, and acting with focus and consistency. Meet Sarah, a talent-filled writer, but stuck in a dangerous cycle. She always helps the next chapter, convinced that tomorrow will be different. Procrastination becomes a constant shadow, bringing with it a silent repentance that erodes its self-esteem. And then, what was supposed to be a little push turns into a difficult snowball to stop. This cycle is treacherous. Procrastination generates guilt. Guilt generates low self-esteem, and low self-esteem strengthens inaction. The more it is repeated, the more difficult it is to resume control of the routine itself. And the most curious thing is that the more Sarah avoids immediate discomfort, the more he grows inside it, undermining his productivity and his willpower. What's worse is that most do not even notice this invisible looping. They get stuck, feeling unable, not knowing where to start. But if we understand the cycle, we can create strategies to break it with focus, self-control, and small actions that reinforce mental resilience. The key is acting, even if it is a small step, to resume confidence. Remember, procrastinating is a habit, and habit is built, but it also destroys itself. With discipline and consistency, Sarah, and you can also leave this mental prison and turn the cycle weakness into a cycle of strength and overcoming. The old Stoic, such as Marco Aurelio and Epictetus, left us a legacy that is pure gold for those seeking discipline. They taught that true power is in self-control and the ability to rule one's mind, even when the surrounding world seems chaotic. Marco Aurelio repeated the phrase, "You have power over your mind," not about external events, remembering that our freedom is in the reaction we chose. This internal domain is the basis of self-control, not a form of denial of emotions, but an invitation not to be slaves. When we can control impulses, resist temptations, and focus on goals, our productivity and willpower grow naturally, creating a virtuous circle of overcoming. In practice, this means creating habits that strengthen the prefrontal cortex, such as meditation, daily reflection, and self-observation. These simple exercises help to reinforce focus and resilience, protecting against ego deployment, that sense of mental exhaustion that makes us vulnerable to procrastination. Thus, mastering the mind is not a privilege of ancient sages, but an ability accessible to all who are willing to invest in their routine. And the good news is that by doing so, you gain not only discipline, but a real freedom to decide the course of your life. When we think of discipline, the Spartans' warriors who transformed the rigidity of training into absolute power come to mind. They were living examples of how discipline shapes not only the body, but the mind and the spirit. The same force that supported the Roman legions, tireless and organized, who conquered the world for their rail discipline and unique resilience. But discipline is not just physical strength. Viktor Frankl, survivor of concentration camps, taught us something even deeper. The last of human freedoms is to choose the attitude in the face of circumstances. In the midst of extreme suffering, he found a purpose and maintained self-control, showing that discipline can be the flame that keeps the darker hope. These historical examples reveal a fundamental point: discipline is not mechanical or inflexible, but a conscious choice that shapes our character. It is a foundation that sustains overcoming, which drives us to resist, not giving in to ego deploymenting, and building a life based on real values. And it is precisely this vision that we can apply today in our daily lives. Whether in the internal battle against procrastination or in the goals we want to achieve, learning from these examples is a powerful way to inspire us to cultivate discipline as a true act of self-improvement. Nietzsche brought us a powerful idea for those seeking discipline: overcoming oneself is the greatest achievement we can achieve. He said that he who cannot obey himself will be commanded, highlighting the importance of self-control to escape the outer and internal strings. It is a call to go beyond the limitations imposed by ego and procrastination. This overcoming is not a battle against the world, but against our own limits and habits. Every small daily victory, keeping the focus, resisting temptation, acting despite tiredness, is a step towards this personal freedom. To cultivate this mindset is to transform habit into willpower, willpower into discipline, and discipline into a resilient lifestyle. Nietzsche invites us to see the challenge of discipline as a continuous journey of self-improvement. It is not about being perfect, but about persisting, even when ego deployment tries to knock us down. This search makes us stronger, more focused, and connects us to a greater purpose that transcends immediate difficulties. Therefore, discipline, from the perspective of self-overcoming, is a deep process of personal growth. It is a habit that leads us to the lords of our own mind, to act with focus and resilience, and turn dreams into real, achievable, and lasting goals. Novak Djokovic is not just one of the greatest tennis players in history. It is a true living example of discipline in action. In the historic final against Rafael Nadal, his physical and mental resistance was decisive for victory. But the secret is not just in the game, it is in the rigorous routine that Djokovic maintains: balanced food, daily meditation, and impeccable self-control. More than talent, Djokovic demonstrates how discipline goes beyond sport and becomes a lifestyle. He shows that focus and willpower do not arise out of nowhere. They are cultivated with daily habits and a mentality of overcoming. This consistency is what keeps it at the top, even in the face of the greatest pressures and challenges. Its story inspires because it reflects the power of the well-trained prefrontal cortex, the ability to control impulses, deal with ego deployment, and maintain concentration on goals. Djokovic is proof that discipline is the bridge between dream and fulfillment, between gross talent and sustainable success. If he can, you can. The path of discipline may seem difficult, but it is accessible to all who are willing to act with focus, willpower, and especially consistency. If you want to turn your dream to reality, it is time to understand that discipline is not an option, it is a necessity. As William Arthur Ward says, the price of excellence is discipline. Without it, the goals are on paper and procrastination becomes a villain of its history. The choice is in your hands. Keep postponing or act now. For starters, focus on 5 habits that make all the difference. Define clear goals and priorities. Create a structured routine. Win procrastination with small actions. Build mental resilience and seek support to stay responsible. Each step strengthens your self-control and focus, making you more productive and able to overcome challenges. Discipline requires willpower, yes, but also strategy. Do not expect motivation to appear magically. It arises from consistent action. Start small, celebrate every achievement, and keep your look at what really matters. You are building a successful mindset, a routine that will transform your life. Remember, be disciplined or forget your dreams forever. This phrase may sound hard, but it is the naked and raw truth. Now is your turn to decide whether to take control of your mind, time, and future. The action starts here. Indira Gandhi left us a powerful lesson. Freedom is disciplined thought and action. This phrase summarizes well what it means to live with focus, self-control, and structured routine. True freedom is not the absence of rules, but the power to choose to act toward their goals with consistency and resilience. Starting with a small act of discipline today can be the turning point of your life. Whether you get up, plan your day, or simply resist distraction, these small actions create a domino effect that turns dreams into achievements. Your future is forged in the fire of your discipline, and each step matters. So don't wait for a tomorrow. The time is now. The action is yours, and the moment is unique. Remember that willpower can oscillate, but discipline, when cultivated, creates deep roots that support its growth, focus, and productivity. Now that you know the power that is in your hands, how about taking the first step? Start today to apply these habits to your routine. And if you like this content, be sure to subscribe to the channel and activate notifications to receive more valuable tips on discipline, focus, and success. Let's go together on this journey towards overcoming